So what is going on, everybody? My name is Mehul and welcome to your 19th Angular tutorial, in which we're going to discuss about what services are in Angular and how pretty much we made use of one service in the last login tutorial we did. So services you can think of essentially are required whenever you want to share the data among a lot of components and basically directives and all that parts of your particular module, right? So let's just say if you're creating any e-commerce website, so what you would want is that the cart of the user is always the same on all the pages and is always updated, right? So for that, what we can do is we can actually create a cart service. Now what this service would be is that it would be available to all of your declarations, which is your modules and components. Plus, it would always be a single instance, at least that's what we prefer, so that whenever you make change to a service in one component or make change to a variable or any method or any property in service, that change is immediately reflected globally to that service, and any other component accessing that thing would reflect the same change, right? So to create a service, what we need is go to your Angular command line and just wait a second. I guess I have that right here. So we have our second terminal running now, and if we take a look, then what you can do to create a service is pretty much say ng generate service and then your service name, right? Which in our case was the user, right? So you just have to write user here and it would create a user service. Now what we did in the user service is that we pretty much created these two methods which are just set user logged in and get user logged in. And this is a very basic service example with pretty much just one variable in working, because we are not making use of this private username, right? So what we are doing is just setting a Boolean value to a service which is accessible in all the components, right? So that we can know that if the user is logged in or not. So now let's just say if I want to find out if the user is logged in, right? So what I'm going to do is go to my header component, and right here I want to make use of this service. Now first thing you want to do to make your service usable in component is you want to go to the main module which hosts the component, which in our case is just app module, and you have to add the service inside providers, right? Just like we have user service right here. Once you do ng generate your service and your service name here and hit enter, it would create a new service, but it would not add it to the providers. So you have to do that manually, and this user service is the same name, which is this class name, right? So we go to our app module, and once you have done that, this tells Angular that the service is now accessible to all the components in this module. So once you have done that, you can just go to your module file, and again you would need to import the service. So you're going to say import user service from user.service, right? So now you have access to this particular service, and it should be actually just a directory back, not this one. There we go. So now you have access to this user service, but in order to make use of that in your methods or wherever you want, what you have to do is actually include this using dependency injection. Now what that is pretty much that inside constructor, what we do is we say private anything like my service or my awesome service, and we declare this as a user service. Now what happens with this is TypeScript stuff going on. So what this does is that it tells Angular that we are expecting a user service inside constructor with the name my awesome service. So you do not need to do a lot of things in here. You can even leave the constructor blank. So what this will essentially tell Angular is that put this user service inside my awesome service when calling the constructor of this class. So now you have access to my awesome service right here. with this .myAwesomeService, and then right here you can pretty much get any method or any property associated with the class as long as it is public, right? So yeah, we can pretty much say console.log this dot get user logged in, and we would just say is user logged in, and just like that. So if we take a look now and just hit the console, you see that we get it's recompiling. And I don't know, let's just try it one more time. Okay, so now you can see that we get is the user logged in as false. So if I log in, I guess it was admin and hit login, and I reload this page again because we are logged in, and we get is the user okay. So obviously we are not storing the state of the user right now as of with the routing, so we would pretty much just go to our home page only and would go like admin, and pretty much we could just say that this thing right here inside our dashboard component as well, right? So again, we need to make use of the same name which we have used in the dependency injection. So now if we see if the user login we get false, and we write admin and hit login, you see that we get the user logged in as true, right? So yeah, that is pretty much how services work, and that's how you can create a very basic service, which is just a simple login state, and you could actually just share some data as well among the services apart from just the Boolean value. So we can say set user logged in username as let's just say admin this dot username, and we can make this public so that we do not need to have a setter for this method. So we can say something like this dot name is a username, and then we can create a name in here, right? Is let's just say anonymous as default. So again, we need to make use of my awesome service, and I guess we are in the wrong file because we would like to do that inside our dashboard file, right? So we can say name as anony, and then we can set this dot name to this dot user dot username, right? So now what we can do is inside our dashboard file, hello, and what we have name, right? So yep, and now if we go like admin and hit login, you would see that we get hello admin. So we have successfully shared some data from the service to our component, right? And again, this name would be accessible inside our header component or any other component for any other page or part of web page, right? So yeah, that is pretty much how services work in Angular, and that's all you pretty much need to know right now. And yeah, so that is all for this one, and if you liked it, then please don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching. I'll see you then in the next one.